Action.
Welcome to Fiorella's. Today we are going to show you the preparation and heating instructions for the boneless beef short ribs and seared scallop surf and turf. So how we want to start this out, we'll go a little bit backwards on some things because we can plate the dessert first or a little bit after we get some of the things started. I've got the short ribs, take about a half an hour at 300 in the oven. So I've got those already in the oven. They've got about 10 minutes left on them. And then the first thing we're going to start, because it takes the longest, is the saffron and mushroom risotto. So as you see everything here is as it's going to come to you. These will be covered. They'll be all ready to go with the amounts that you've ordered for your group. So this is an amount for 5 people here. And so this is, so that's what I'm showing you. You may have larger or smaller containers depending on the size of your group. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our chicken and saffron stock going. Saucepan. And we're going to go right in there. So we want this stock to be warm. It doesn't necessarily need to be boiling. It just cooks the risotto cooks a little bit faster if you have it hot as you go into it. So we're going to turn our skillet on here for the risotto. We're going to turn it on medium heat and just let it get hot for a minute. So this is our par cooked risotto. This risotto is cold and it's been cooked about 2/3 of the way. So all we have to do is finish it with about a quart of that stock. Then we have white wine, Parmesan cheese, and some chopped herbs and red peppers for garnish. We're just going to break it up a little bit. You don't want the pan to be too hot. You don't want it to scorch. We're just going to break all that up in the pan. And we're going to stir this almost continuously. It doesn't need to go, you don't have to stir it all the time, but what we're going to do is take some of our hot stock, go right in there. We're going to do about half of the stock to begin with because that will cover our risotto. And once it starts heating up, you'll see it'll really start absorbing all that stock. So when we get to about there, we want to turn it down. We want about a medium-low heat on that. This one, you can turn down to low just to keep it at a simmer. Now, we can go on to our dessert, which we can plate early. I actually heated up the carrot cake and the apple tart already. So these will come in separate. Actually, the chocolate cake will be cold, and you'll heat these as per the heating instructions that you'll get the written ones. You'll heat them on 250 for about 15 minutes. You can serve them cold, there's nothing wrong with it. I just like to get the chill off them a little bit warm. Your package will come with some raspberry sauce, this is just powdered sugar, it's called snow sugar because it's super fine. Some chopped pecans, strawberries, and raspberries. And you'll get a piping bag in your kit with some whipped cream. So I'm going to show you how to plate this, both the plated version and the family style bowl. So some of the ways you can do the sauce, you're going to get it in a bag like this, and I just snipped off the end. So you have just a little end that's snipped off. So you can do several things with this. You can do some swishes. You could do some gradiating dots, large to small. You can even do a spoon. Just take a spoon and swish it. So we're going to go ahead and take some of our chocolate. We'll garnish it with some of our whipped cream. A little bit of snow. Berries. And for the plated, it's very similar. However you want to do it. And then just do one piece of each. And that's your dessert. Plate those just like that. For an individual guest, and then if you wanted to do platters on the table. So risotto's coming along nicely. We'll add a little bit more stock here. It's starting to absorb all that stock we put in it. And our short rib timer, you might have heard, went off. So you may or may not use all the stock you get, and that's okay. It really is a taste consistency thing. You really want it to be creamy, so now we're going to let this absorb the rest of that stock. We're going to take a very small saucepan, and we're going to start heating our sauce for the scallops. This is our Pernod and spinach sauce for the scallops. And we're going to put this on a really low heat. We don't want to boil it. We just want to heat it really, really slow. There we go. So very low flame. Now we're going to make our salad. So the salad, start with a bowl. A mixing bowl, any kind of mixing bowl will do. So we have our artichokes, which have already been marinated, some oil and herbs, so you really don't need to marinate those. But we have our lemon vinaigrette here, and then we have our asparagus and our tomatoes. If you notice the tomatoes, this is for 5 people. We have 5 of 3 different colors. This is how it'll come to you. You can separate them out like that, or as you see when I plate them, you don't have to. They don't have to. You don't have to have one of each one on every plate. So I'm going to put those in there. We're going to take just a little bit, about 2 large tablespoons of our lemon vinaigrette. And we're just going to toss that. I need 2 8-inch plates. Now we're going to do this for family style, and then we're going to do a plated as well. family style. Start out with our serving bowl. And then we're just going to place our asparagus and our artichokes. You want to alternate a little bit, get some different height in there, get them at different angles. And then we'll place our tomatoes just so you can see plenty of color. Once you get to there, we've included a little bit of our pink Himalayan salt. And I hope everybody has a pepper grinder at home. A bit of fresh ground black pepper. And then we're going to drizzle it with a little bit more of our dressing. We'll do almost exactly the same thing with the plated. So if you're doing plated, we've included 3 asparagus spears, 2 quarters of artichoke hearts, and then enough greens to do all of your salads, and 3 tomato halves. So when you're plating it, nice little mound of greens, 2 of your artichokes, and you want to get nice height on it. 3 asparagus spears. And then if you wanted to do individual like this and do 3 different colors, you have the brandywine, the red, and the yellow tomato. Same thing, a little sprinkle of sea salt. We'll stir our risotto real quick. And our risotto is pretty much done. We're going to let that absorb the rest of the liquid just by sitting here. I've turned off the heat and we're just going to let it absorb. Our sauce here, so you see how it's almost all liquid now? That's all we want. We don't want to heat it any more than that. We don't want it to boil. If it boils, it may break. By break, I mean it'll separate. It won't hurt the taste, but the color and the consistency will be different. So we're just going to let that sit till we're ready to plate. So I've got my sea salt on there, a little black pepper, and just a real quick drizzle of the lemon vinaigrette. There's your salad. As you're doing it, go ahead and wipe the edge. So everything for our entree is pretty much ready. There's some final finishing touches. So you're gonna get a pan that looks just like this, maybe larger, maybe smaller, but it's gonna have your grilled vegetables, your blanched carrot flowers, and your seared scallops all in one pan, because these are all gonna cook at the exact same time and temperature. You wanna get your oven almost as hot as it'll go. 450 degrees is about perfect. You can go a little hotter, a little colder if you need to, but we're just gonna go for 4 or 5 minutes in the oven to get these really hot, really fast. We do not wanna overcook either the vegetables or the scallops for sure. So these scallops, if you notice, all I've done is I've seared them on one side. So this will be the presentation side up, because that's how we keep from overcooking these scallops. We don't sear both sides. So I've got a really hot oven down here. 4 to 5 minutes tops on those. Your oven may take a minute or 2 longer. These are high, these have a high fan convection on them, so they cook really hot. And we're gonna grab our plating right here. So we're gonna do a plated, and we're gonna do a family style. We got our short ribs here. These should be nice. We've got this sauce. Your corn is ready. Your sauce is right in with the short ribs. This paper is in a lot of your pans. It just keeps the top of the pan from getting, a lot of times if it's just barely touching, some of the acids from that will make it degrade. So that's your short ribs. It's got the sauce right in the pan. We're just gonna use that sauce just like it is. It's got some of the really nice carrots that they braised with. For our risotto, this is where you add your last 3 ingredients. White wine, dry white wine, Chardonnay is perfect. You don't want something too sweet. You don't want that to be real sweet. Parmesan cheese. And then we've just got some nice small diced red peppers and some fine chopped herbs. Just want to stir all that together. Once you get to this point, your vegetables and your scallops will be really close to being ready. As soon as that timer goes off, we'll get those out. I'm gonna go for 1 more minute. Set it a little bit too short. So we have everything here to plate our entrees. Oh, those smell good. So, for the family style entree, we're going to start with our risotto right down the middle. So we kind of, even with both plates, we want to separate the plate in half with the risotto. So you're going to get these really vibrant colors from the risotto, from the green, and all the vegetables. And so we just separate that plate in half. Nice thick line. And then on one half, I'm gonna go with the green sauce. And then our scallops will go right on top of that green sauce. Short ribs. So these are really nice slices. And you're gonna notice there's some fat on the short ribs. You're more than welcome to trim that off. I like to leave it on there, let people trim it off themselves if they want. But one of the great things about short ribs is the intermuscular fat that comes in it. It just has that wonderful flavor. It just melts in your mouth. Take just a few of our carrots right on top of here. Spoon some of that nice demi-glaze right over the top. For the plated, and so if you wanted to, you could serve the vegetables on the side, or you could serve the vegetables, because they are fairly dainty, right there on the middle of the plate as well. For the plated, it's going to be almost identical to that. So for the plated. I'm going to take a nice large scoop, separate the plate. Our sauce. So if you're plating these, you're going to have 2 scallops for each plate and 3 slices of short rib. And then for the plated, right on this side, you put your vegetables, and then 2 of the carrots right there. This makes a really pretty plate, really great presentation. It can be served almost any way to the guest. It's not going to hurt the presentation. There you have it. That's the Fiorella's short rib and scallops surf and turf. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.